All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to our daily success call for Friday, April 8th, 2022. John Lavinia here with you. It is Fun Friday, and I am wearing, a different color polo shirt than I usually wear. It's one of my Tommy Bahama collections, so I'm feeling Bahamian today. Good to see you all. I do see a bunch of our friends here. We got Monica. There's Alec. Here comes Scott. Can't have a session without Scott. Everybody else seems to be off camera or on a phone or whatever, so that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and get started with it because it's Fun Friday. We got to have a joke. And if you guys got any dogs or cats around, I'd love to meet them. Barbara, you've got the floor. Barbara.
What did the snail say when it was riding on the turtle's back?
What did he say?
Whee!
Yeah. Scott liked that one. I see you, Scott. There you go. Thank you, Barbara. Family friendly, fun for everyone. Rated G. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Hey, Alec, who's that you got over there? I see an animal. Let's get you unmuted, Alec.
Yeah, you've met her before. This is my little girl, Riley.
Hey, Riley, good to see you. Looking good when we can see you. That false background kind of takes her on and off, but good to see you, Riley. Is she what kind of dog is she?
Hold on, let me see if I can. She is a purebred German Shepherd.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I couldn't see the false background.
She is all over the place, hard to handle sometimes. I know I took her out for a walk yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple of days ago, and some girl had seen her and she was like, "Hey, she's such a pretty dog." And I was like, "Yes, she is." And then she got excited and jumped all over her.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? She does that. But
well, she's very animated. That's nice. She's friendly though, so that's good.
Yeah.
Good times. Thank you, Alec. All right, anybody else? Monica, you got a hot mic? Monica? No? Yes? No? I'm not hearing Monica.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, there she is.
Hello.
Yes. Monica, did you want to share a joke, or you got a dog or a cat or something that you want to expose us to? Sounds like Monica's having a connectivity issue. You're new here. That's fine. Welcome. Glad you're here. That's Monica, everybody. Welcome to the crew. So it's Friday, so we're going to keep it light. Got Fun Friday. How was your week? I suspect you guys have made some progress. We've had reports of people making progress here in this community and getting things going. Of course, we also have a lot of new members like Monica. So welcome to you guys. You know, what we do here each day for our seasoned veterans, we get together and we talk about entrepreneurship and the mindset of success, which I have found is the major component. The how-to stuff is very useful, but who's doing it? Well, that's the bigger question, isn't it? And of course, Scott and I get to banter about stuff like this all the time. But what I wanted to do today was just kind of look back, sort of a week in review, and celebrate some wins, because I think we've got to acknowledge what's working, right? We've got to acknowledge our wins. Otherwise, it's just drudgery. It's just what you haven't accomplished yet. And so I want to do that today, and we can kind of go around the table. Whoever wants to share, that's great. We got a kind of a light crowd here today, so maybe everybody can get out here. Although people tend to show up late and the crowd tends to grow. But I'll go ahead and get started. How's that sound? Shall I start? Now this will be. I see a thumbs up from some of you. So this will be not related to print on demand e-commerce. This will be related to the multiple businesses that I run. But this is in my world. Okay, these are wins that I've had, and that if I don't stop and think about them, I could just as well not smell the roses, keep going, be a workaholic, and whatever I habitually do. So, well, here's one thing. I put out some promotion this week via email, and got immediate responses, and people booking consultations with me in one of my businesses, and sales, like that all happened, right? So that was something that I could have just as easily not done, which is a weak spot for me. Just so you guys know, it's and I think it's pretty common. Like, we don't promote enough. I'll own that. You don't have to own that, but for me, that's real. And so I promoted more. That was good, and it bears fruit, right? I mean, here's the sales that came from that. So that's very nice. What else? I worked with some of our new members here in this group. Okay, I worked with some of our new members here in this group to help them get into the advanced group, the accelerated, program, and that's gratifying as well, because now not only did I get to identify people who are looking to do this like for real, like big time, but also they got the gratification of being accepted into a sort of an exclusive tier of people here within this larger community. We've got thousands of members, and and different people have different intentions coming in, and some people are looking to just have a hobby. Some people are looking to take over the world, and everything in between. So that is revealing for me, which brings me to another win that I had, which is I got perspective as recently as today. I got perspective on what the marketplace is looking like. This is something you should all be interested in. What the marketplace is looking like in terms of people's desires for having a business online, and just doing business online, or seeking out, let me put it this way, seeking alternatives to whatever has or has not been working for them up to this point. That people are very interested in change. And I think this has something to do with certainly the whole COVID event, and depending on what jurisdictions people are in and how much that's affected them, with their local governments and whatever. But I think in general, I think we're in a bit of a renaissance here. I think we've got a lot of people that are standing up and saying, you know what, I'm going to go make something of myself, rather than just wait for something to happen to me. That's always a big win for me, because as I get to, as I'm exposed to, as everyone is, of the troubles in the world, well, it's good to also know that there's solutions, right? It's good to also know that there are people who are picking themselves up by their bootstraps, whatever their circumstances had been up to that point, and making something happen. I love that, and I love working with people like that, because that's inspirational to me and to anybody else who cares to look. Of course, that's not everybody, right? Most people just want to wait for something to happen to them. So those are 3 wins that I've had. Who else? I'd love to hear like some accomplishments, something that you can recognize, even one thing that you can recognize that was a successful action for you this week. Oh, I got one more as you guys are raising your hands. I was on with in a meeting with a medical practitioner who decided to leave the field, and for some significant reasons. And I wound up interviewing them just on the spot. I'm like, hey, we should do an interview. They're like, yes, let's do it. And bam, I captured some great content, and I'll be putting that out on the interwebs. Alec, you've got the floor. Hello, sir. What wins have you experienced this week?
Actually, just experienced a very good win yesterday. One of the girls from the after call, the group after this, she was doing a meeting yesterday on showing us how to go ahead and advertise on Facebook. And I wound up calling her, and I was like, hey, well, you know what? It was just for a donation. So I was like, hey, well, I will go ahead, and you were very much helped today, so I would like to thank you. And she was like, okay, did you miss anything? And I was like, I might have missed a few things. So we wound up having a Zoom call last night, and she helped me to get my my Facebook store going, which was like, okay, well, here, this is a good way to advertise, so you can just send everybody to your gear bubble as you know you're working on doing your other stuff. But that's a good way to just go ahead and advertise your company just for your gear bubble store. And then you can also advertise your Facebook and your eBay or your Etsy, whatever it is that you want to do. So that was one good accomplishment. I am very excited about next week's accomplishment. There's a 48-hour screenwriting competition. And I like to write, so I figured 48 hours. It took me 7 days, just kind of not really even focusing on it. So I figured 48 hours, that's gonna be something I'm very, very excited about, actually.
Very cool. Well done. Good times. So guys, here we are acknowledging progress, right? And progress begets progress. You get more of what you think about, right? Who else? Who else has some wins they want to share? Thank you, Alec. All right, so there it is, right? Any hesitation on this is revealing. All right, so you've had some wins. Have you not? Shaquille, come on out, brother.
Well, right now I feel like a loser because I'm still in bed, but
okay.
I did have a win this week. I learned a new video editing technique that I kind of thought was like impossible to do, but I learned it and I feel real good, man. I feel like I have a new power or you know, or something. So that's a win. And also I get to talk to you, John. That's a win. Right.
There you go.
Huh?
The hits just keep on coming. It was good to talk to you as well.
What'd you say?
Always good to talk to you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, well done. Well done, Shaquille. Oh, we got a couple more hands up now. Look at that. Here comes Dora. Welcome, Dora. How are you, my friend?
Hey, happy Friday. So yeah, I've had some wins this week. Last week, I actually got my LLC finally done. So I was able to set up my Amazon store, my shop, and my Etsy shop, and my Shopify shop. I've got everything loaded. I think I have like 65 designs right now. So I've got 65 designs up on Shopify. I have all but the last 5 are loading as we speak on Amazon, and Etsy I'm having a little technical issues with. I'm connected and everything, but I can't get my stuff to upload. So I'm trying again to re-upload it, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm seeing the progress, and I'm very happy with that.
Well done. Congratulations, Dora.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah, you too. You too. Stu and then Scott. Hey, Stu.
Hey, John.
Hey.
A little slow on the trigger there. I've finally getting a handle on my organization and my systems that I'm setting up. I got my Evernote set up. It's just a free version, but man, is it real handy to have. So I can have my notes in there under my notebooks with my, I've got a note for keywords, a note for Etsy resources, Amazon resources, and it's so simple and easy to find that stuff with the links right in them. So that was a big win for me, and it's helping me to get a little more focused on the areas I need to focus on. So that was a good win.
Oh, well done. Very good, Stu. Let's go right to Scott. We'll keep this going like popcorn. Hey, Scott. Scott Barker.
Morning, John.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a little thing, really. Just I'm always looking for ways to streamline production, increase the speed of production and the quality. I just had a few little windfalls in that regard, in terms of the using of templates and also sort of the development of certain systems of collecting information and having it at my fingertips and so forth. Very, very important, because I'm realizing that the business, I mean, success of any sort is as much about the systems you have as about the stuff you do at the coalface, because they really provide you the foundation upon which you stand in order to do things. And then and it reminds me of the time I was in the hospital, when the difference between the people who are at the coalface, so handling patients, and the people who are supporting them, providing management, they provide the infrastructure. They provide the knowledge, the learning, the training, everything they need, the foundation upon which the people who are at the coalface stand. People at the coalface are the most important, but without that structure, they can't do anything. The same way with the business. Unless you have a system that works for you, the quality of what you do is going to be substandard. The speed with which you do is going to be substandard, and you won't really maximize your potential unless you have a system. And the system has to have the capacity to grow and change and develop all the time. So it can't be a set system. It has to be organic, to encompass new information and new insights you get from people, from internet, wherever. So it's an evolving entity as well. And I think my analysis of the system and a system of developing systems, I think has been a good insight that I've sort of come to recently.
Mm-hmm. Well done. Very good, Scott.
All
Systemization.
steps forward.
Yeah. Good times. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Jackie, and then we'll see anybody else. Any other hands? Hey, Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie. I had a very productive week, and I think I started about 2.5 weeks ago, and I officially got my Etsy shop up and running. I think I have the integration working. We're just confirming that today, so that was like a big deal for me. And on top of that, I had an unusually busy 2 weeks at my regular full-time job. That's actually like more than full-time. So the fact that I was able to manage both is really positive, because it should just get easier moving forward, I think. So it was just like a very big, busy 2 weeks. And this week was super, super productive. So I feel very good, like I'm heading in the right direction.
Awesome. Well done, Jackie. Glad you're here. Just 2 weeks in. Good times.
Yes.
Dora's got her hand up again.
you.
Hey, Dora.
Yeah, sorry. When Scott first got on, he mentioned that it was just a small accomplishment that he had.
Mhm.
I want to remind everyone, I think it's the small accomplishments that we really have to celebrate big time, because they're really, really important, just as big as the big ones, you know? So enjoy the small ones just as much.
Right. Thank you, Dora. So why am I going down this road with you guys here today? Well, one, because I deserve to go down it myself more often. But secondly, it was actually something that Shaq brought up last week, or was it this week, or whenever it was? I don't know. It all kind of runs together for me. But he mentioned the parable of the talents. You guys remember Shaq talking about that? Those of you who are here. So to him who hath shall be given, and to him who hath not shall be taken even that which he hath. All right. So the way to survive in the world is to increase, right? Greater expansion, fuller expression, moving lifeward, right? Think of a tree, right? The tree is a little seedling, and then it grows up, and then throughout that cycle, it keeps expanding until the end of that life cycle, then it decays. But nothing rests. We're either expanding or disintegrating. We're either growing or dying, right? So it's one or the other. And so to him who hath shall be given. So does this not also indicate to us that we've got to be aware and conscious that we have? I mean, look, one of the not one of the number one greatest wealth creation emotions is gratitude, right? We're grateful for what we have. To him who hath shall be given. But what if we're just walking around and, bemoaning, what we didn't do yet and, what we haven't accomplished yet? And, well, okay. To him who hath not shall be taken even that which you have. So we're either on the upward spiral or the downward spiral. How do you get on the upward spiral? You acknowledge that you're on the upward spiral, every little win, as Dora just said. So, so there's this whole cycle. And those of you who are reading Weldon Long's book, The Power of Consistency, he mentions this. He didn't originate it. It's just how life works. But there's this whole cycle of thought, emotion, action, results. Thought, emotion, action, results. Or if you like the word feeling better, thought, feelings, actions, results. And then we look at those results and we have some thoughts about them. And then we have emotions about that, pleasing or not, right? And then we take additional actions or fail to take them. And then we get another result. And that can be an upward spiral or a downward spiral. So which thing are you focusing on? If there's one thing that you have dominion over, it's your own thoughts. Now, a lot of us may want to argue that. Well, no, I mean, don't you know there's problems in the world and this and that? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here in a state of new age denial or something? No, hold on. I'm not saying that you're denying that there's problems in the world, but I'm saying you get more of what you think about. So sure, there's going to be things that impinge upon you without any effort on your part that would suggest that you can't, you won't, it's problems, failure. Yeah, I mean, that's the narrative. Welcome to planet Earth. In fact, what did Goethe say? He said, we need not visit a mental institution to find disordered minds. Our planet is the mental institution of the universe. That's what Goethe said. So, so what must we do if we're about advancement, if we're about increase? Well, we've got to be on that upward spiral, deliberately, consciously, knowingly. Look, that just worked. Fantastic. How do you feel about that? Well, I'm grateful. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm mild enthusiasm, whatever. It doesn't mean I'm jumping up and down, but still I'm acknowledging a win. It feels good. Well, let me do something else to win some more now. Action, right? And then result, increase. And then you have some thoughts about it because you observed it. That's what I'm asking you to do, is observe increase in your life. And then you'll experience more. Because what we validate expands, whether it's on the upward spiral or the downward spiral. It takes no effort to sit around and complain. Any half an idiot can do that. I've done it a lot. Okay, so what I'm asking you to do is be a bit more conscious. That's all. And look at, balance that a bit, right? Because nothing rests. You're either going up or down. I just heard from a handful of people here who are going up. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, if you didn't share because you're shy or whatever, you don't need a public acknowledgement. You can do this for yourself, right? This is for you. This is for you, right? So, I mean, public acknowledgement is nice too, but your own acknowledgement is sufficient. All right. And then maybe you won't be so shy next time I launch into a topic like this. Scott, come on out here, brother.
Yes, I want to mention something, a little bit of an aha moment that I had a few days ago, which sort of haunted me. For a while, I've been having struggles with visualization and things like that, and a lot of people, I think, sort of can possibly resonate with that, in the sense that you imagine things that are, in some sense, not real, with the idea that that you can somehow affect or change the real world circumstances in which you live in order to bring about certain changes that you want in yourself or in your life. And the aha moment I've had was basically, it actually extended from a prompting I had to rewatch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, believe it or not. If you remember that movie many years ago, there are many themes that run in that movie, but you've got to be sort of tuned into it in a certain way. The idea was that he was emphasizing pure imagination as being the key to so much joy and happiness. And I always thought that imagination and the real world events, the physicality, of the world are so different. And therefore, if you try and imagine something to be true, then that's one thing, but that's not reality. It is a different thing. And that's why I had problems validating visualization in the same way that I had often had problems learning to play cards. I couldn't see the point. I could not see the functionality of the 3D world reality of imagining something that wasn't real. But what I've come to understand, and this is borne out by physics, is that what we imagine, what we think, does actually create frequencies, does create energy patterns, energy fields. Joe Dispenza is very much speaks about this very much. Actually creates energy fields around the human body that extend who knows how far, and they actually are part of the physicality, if you like, of what we call the real world. So therefore, what we imagine and what we think is not actually an alternative to reality, in a physical reality, is actually an extension of it. In the same way that you get all the different aspects of the electromagnetic spectrum, from radiation to color to sound, all these different forms of the electromagnetic radiation sort of spectrum of frequency. In the same way, I think thought and physical objects are basically also parts of that physical spectrum of what is real. So therefore, when you do imagine something, when you do visualize it, when you do emotionally feel something, you're not actually creating reality. To me, you're sort of like telling the sort of the wave of reality where to sit, because this is part of the same reality. You're just engineering it so that your dominant thought pattern, your dominant frequency, has a greater influence on the rest of your real life. And I think that shapes your thinking, it shapes your expectations, it certainly shapes the lens through which you see life, and that has to have an effect upon the real world existence. That's sort of the sort of aha moment that I've had, realizing that imagination is part of, and that sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually part of the real world because of the frequencies that intentionality has. And I said it's supported by physics, because even Einstein and other people have noticed that atomic particles actually change their trajectory depending on whether a consciousness is in the presence of the experiment. Human intentionality, human awareness even, actually change the trajectory of subatomic parts that were sent in a certain direction. And the way they splayed when they were sent through porous material was different when people were around, or people were involved, or people were present, as opposed to when people were not present. So the sheer intentionality of human consciousness, even if it's not directed at a particular thing, that has an effect upon physical real world events. And Einstein bore that out. And it's funny because in Willy Wonka, Charlie was saying something along the lines, I don't have a chance of winning the golden ticket. And Grandpa Joe said, of course you have a better chance than anyone else, because you want it more than anyone else. And then I just realized, bang, that was Einstein's principle. The intentionality can actually affect real world events. And that, I think, is the backbone a lot of what of this talk about manifestation and things that I have observed there are some TikToks that deal particularly with relationship building and getting your SP, your special person, back into your life. And a lot of people are experiencing actual events where people are coming back into their lives in ways that were totally unpredictable and ways that have no sort of sense to them. The only thing that was happening is that the person who wanted that other person in their lives was creating a frequency, a dominant frequency, a dominant thought pattern. And that's the only way you can explain that this person somehow, in a variety of circumstances, came back into this person's life. And I noticed that, and I thought, okay, that's cute and it's nice, but it seems to be happening with nauseating regularity. So much so you really can't ignore it. And the thing about science is that Science is not about explaining why one thing leads to another. It's just, I mean, you can't assume causality between one event and something. You obviously often don't know why A led to B. But at least if you see the synchronicity between A and B, you have to acknowledge that, even though you don't know how it happens. And that, I think, is what's happening anecdotally with a lot of these situations. Now, science won't look at it; they won't discuss it because it's beyond the realm of what they accept. But people are actually using this in the same way that people don't understand electricity totally from the atomic physics side of things, but they use it anyway because it works. And that's what's happening now with people's use of imagination and visualization. They don't understand how it works, but they know it works because their lives are changing because of it. So it's a few little aha moments I've had.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I mean, this stuff works whether you know it or like it or not. So we might as well be deliberate about it. So how about you,
Yeah.
Stu? You got some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I had to look up his name. I couldn't remember it, but it's the water crystal experiment
Oh, yeah.
by Amira. Anyways, that's where
Please.
he had glasses of water, and he would have love on it, one with hate on it, and on and on. And he would take microscopic pictures of the water crystals in each glass, and the ones that came out of the glass that said love on it were like beautiful, elegant snowflakes, and the ones that came out of the glass that had hate you on it, they were ugly. They were just awful. And he goes on to say that it is his theory, and he wrote a little something here that he says it's called Hado, rhymes with shadow, Hado. That's the experiment. And he says Hado creates words. Words are the vibrations of nature. Therefore, beautiful words create beautiful nature. Ugly words create ugly nature. This is the root of the universe. So I've got love on my water bottle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have I did some speaking events with a guy who actually had like decals that you could take. He manufactured with like symbols and whatever that you could actually stick onto your water bottles, and it would have that same sort of an effect. I have also heard of people, there was an experiment at some university where two plants were planted, right, in pots, and one was talked at nicely, and the other one was scolded or whatever, and one withered and died and the other prospered. So interesting. And we're not going to get into like applied kinesiology, but that's another interesting subject. And now, of course, Scott Barker's got his hand up again. Hi, Scott. You have some thoughts on what Stu
fancy
said.
meeting here.
Right.
I think one thing that Stu's mentioned, and I think it's very significant, the subtle difference between a thought expressed mentally and one expressed verbally. I think the verbal component is very significant. Now, I think there are mentions of this in ancient texts, certainly in the Bible, the significance of the word, the actual physically spoken word. And I found myself, I got lazy. I tried to do affirmations and so forth mentally, and I found it didn't really have a huge impact. And then I said, "Oh, stuff this! I'm going to, bite the bullet, do it verbally." And after a while, it does bring about change. The verbalization of a thought makes it more powerful. It does create not just a physical frequency in the immediate environment, but it does create a larger etheric frequency, if you like, that extends way beyond your conscious. It's basically is a better way of extending your consciousness into the world than just thinking about things. And I think it helps to solidify the emotional content of the thought, whatever it happens to be. I mean, there are stories told, if you want to go far back, in ancient texts in the Old Testament of it was the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down, and a lot of people think that was relating to ancient knowledge that we've lost about how to utilize human sound and somehow combine it with spirituality to create physical force in the real world. That, who knows? But certainly the physicality aspect, I think, to me, is very, very significant, very significant. And I think that cannot be underestimated.
Thank you, Scott. Good times. We'll go to Shaq and then Stu again. It's like we got a little mini round robin going here. Hey, Shaq.
Yeah. I just wanted to kind of agree with what both Scott and Stu are talking about in their, points here. Especially with the spoken word, as well as that. Considering the analogies that Scott uses with Harry Potter, like, all of us are magic practitioners, whether we know it or not, and we cast spells on ourselves all the time. In our head, we do the prayers in the thinking, but then when we speak it out loud, you actually send a frequency out. And then, just like what Stu was talking about with the water experiment in Japan, the power of because at the end of the day, words are they're just symbols that end up causing you to then think of what the word is representing. Like, for me, on my shoulder here, I have the Chinese character for love on my hoodie. And I feel great when I wear this sweatshirt. And I feel like it really does attract that frequency, because, everything is energy and everything is waves. And our hearts and our brains together create a electromagnetic field around us, which what do magnets do? They attract things, or they push them or repel them. So it's like whatever you are like holding your charge at, which is like the feelings you're creating within yourself, along with the thoughts, when they are in unison, they meet. It's like, it's like something happens. And like an even stronger way that I've found to practice this kind of magic is like through music. Like, I'm a rapper, and that's another win that I want to share, is that I wrote a song this week and recorded it in about like 5 hours, which was nice, because I was kind of in like a creative slump, and I was only focusing on business and stuff like that, and I hadn't worked on music in a minute. But the Oscars 2022 actually inspired me to write a song about Will Smith. And I think it's a pretty good one. I'm gonna put it out either today or tomorrow. But but in the song, I have a part where I forget the exact words because I just wrote it, but it's like I'm talking about I'm feeling good, yeah, like I'm talking about I'm feeling good. And even when I was really sad earlier this week, because I had a tough week, I put the song on, and like that really helped me to feel good, just because I said it in the song, So I make all types of lyrics about being richer than I am, because I know for sure I'm going to have that money. I'll be like, see, I told you guys. So yeah, there's that.
Thank you, Shaq. Good times, man. Wow. So you're speaking it into reality. All right. Well done.
I'm singing.
All right, good times. Thank you. Stu.
Real quick.
Final word.
When my son was born, I would go in every night to his crib when we put him to bed, and I'd say, "You are so smart. You are the brilliant mind, and you have an amazing memory." And I would tell him that every night. And right at might have been 4 when I finally stopped doing it. But he's 32 now. That kid don't forget nothing. It reminds me of it. And I think it really had an impact when and children respond to positive input. Yep. They respond to negative input too, and you know what happens there, right? So anyway, there you go, John.
Thank you. Great reminder, Stu, because I got an 11-year-old in the next room and yeah. So that's something to be conscious of. Thank you guys for being here with us this week. Welcome again to our new members. We're going to do this all again next week with your permission, if it pleases the group. Yes? Yes? Okay, we'll do that. We'll do this next week. I'll be back here with you on Monday. A couple of you I'm meeting with today one-on-one. So I will look forward to speaking with you. In the meantime, make it a great weekend. And remember, what you think about, you get more of that, right? Upward spiral. That's where we're going. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.